Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is 1:08 a.m. Friday evening going into Saturday morning. And you know what that means, don't you? It means disco party! Disco party! When I was a little kid, I used to always go like this because of John Travolta from Saturday Night Fever. Do you guys remember that movie? And my parents' friends would always ask me to do the disco thing. And I would always go like this. That's so stupid. Don't leave me this way. Little Thelma Houston for you on this Friday evening. We had a little double date night tonight. Kind of. Alex texted me from work, and he was like, hey, do you want me to make salads? He makes these fantastic Greek salads, which is like, he puts like spinach in it and feta cheese and then mozzarella cheese. It's kind of his own version of a Greek salad. And then he was going to put corn in mine. He puts black beans in his, and he puts chicken in his from the George Foreman grill. And then just leaves mine, and then I have croutons in mine, but they're so good. And it's like this balsamic vinaigrette dressing. And he was like, do you want salads tonight? And at first I was kind of like, I'm not really in the mood for a salad. And then I got like really hungry, and I was like, I went to go do this review at Starbucks on the Southwest veggie wrap, because I've never had it. Well, I went there to go do the roasted red pepper sous vide egg bites, and because I did the other one yesterday. And so when I was like on the way there, he called me. No. I texted him before I left, and I was like, because I was going to eat like part of that thing, and I was like, okay, I think I'm hungry for a salad. And so I texted him, and I was like, I think I'd love a salad or something like that. So he called me while I was doing the review and asked me what I wanted on my salad. And so I was telling him, because he was going to stop at Fresh Time on the way home, which he did. He stopped at Fresh Time and brought all this stuff home for us to have salads. And then like he was home for like 10 minutes, and we were just kind of talking and hanging out and stuff, and I was uploading some videos. And he said, oh, we got a text from Melissa, and Melissa was like, have you guys got dinner plans yet? I love them they're like, first of all, if you're a couple, get another couple as friends. Like, it really helps your marriage a lot. Just to like realize, you know, like, there's just some things that, like, I think when you're in a marriage that you can, just small little stuff, you know, that you want to blow out of proportion, but when you see that other couples like have the same things, it's like, it kind of brings you closer. So it's been really good for us to have another, I mean, we have a couple couples that we're really close with, but it's been really good for us to have Melissa and Jason as like a couple friend, you know, that we do stuff with. And they are always so good about texting at like, we have the same kind of hours, we keep the same kind of hours, about texting at like 6 or 7 and being like, so what are your dinner plans? You guys want to get together? And they're always very spontaneous and at the last moment. Melissa wanted to get pizza or salad from Basbo's pizza place, which we love. So Alex said, do you want to do that, or do you want to have the salads? And I said, it's totally up to you, babe. I could do either, because we were going to watch a movie. We were either going to watch a movie and eat salads, or we were going to watch The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, the newest episode, and possibly RuPaul when it came on. And so I said I was totally open to either. I could, you know, do whatever. And he was like, he's like, pizza kind of sounds good. Let's go do that. So, or Basbo sounds good. But he said he was just going to get a salad, and then when we got there, he ended up getting a large cheese pizza. So, so we met Melissa and Jason there, and it was really fun. It was like literally us and one other couple in this room. There was like a family in there, but then they left. It was just like we were the only 2 people at the restaurant, and, or the only 2 like tables at the restaurant. And, I got a side salad to start. We all got side salads to start, and then Alex got a cheese pizza. Melissa got a quattro formaggio, which she said she didn't like because she didn't remember that it had mushrooms on it. And she got a smaller one. Alex got like a 16-inch. She got like a 10-inch or 12-inch. And Jason got like a 10 or a 12-inch. It's called the Colossal, and it has all kinds of stuff on it. Their pizza is so fantastic. And I ended up getting a Popeye, because it's this sandwich that they have that I love, and it's like big baguette bread, and then they put this cream cheese on it, this like herb cream cheese on it, cucumber and herb cream cheese, and then spinach and mushrooms. That's Popeye. They call it Popeye, I think, because of all the spinach, I'm assuming. And then you dip it and it comes with like chips. Their chips are really good there too. And then it comes with they're like these just plain like Ruffle chips. And then it comes with this cucumber dressing that's kind of like ranch but lighter. Maybe it was thicker tonight, but I think it was because they were coming straight out of the fridge. And then I dipped my sandwich and my chips in it. So good. And then Melissa wanted to get insomnia cookies, but we were both full, or we were all full. And then we had talked about going to their house to watch Prom on Netflix, but by the time we were done with dinner, Jason was kind of fading. He was tired, and Alex was kind of fading. So we were like, let's just go home and we'll watch it some other night. So we went home and put on our pajamas. And then Alex and I watched RuPaul's Drag Race, which was fun. And I lit a bunch of candles. Or I had lit the candles earlier. Our candles smell so good. I got this candle from Bath & Body Works. I think it's like cinnamon buns, or I don't know, something like that. But it smells so fantastic. Our whole house smells so good right now. Because I have like these winter... oh, look at those lights. They're so pretty. These winter plugins from Bath & Body Works. And they're kind of like a pine scent. Oh my God, my candle from the Poorhouse Company, my newest one called So Grateful. I had it burning like forever while I was like working and doing stuff tonight. Or late this afternoon and early evening. And it is, oh my God. I kept on saying to Alex, I was like, this candle smells so good. So if you're looking for a good smelling candle, I would highly recommend that one. And not just because it's mine, it's linked below. It's Poorhouse Company, and you can, or on my other channels, it's linked as well. Yeah, and that was that. And then we watched RuPaul's Drag Race, and then Alex was like falling asleep on the couch. He had like a couple glasses of wine, and he was like, before dinner, like he had a glass, he was drinking like a Vive thing before dinner while I was working on stuff. He was just sitting there playing his game. And then I think he had 2 glasses of wine when we got home, and he was exhausted. So he has nothing to do tomorrow. He's going to try to return his Doc Marten boots to the store, Journeys, to get a bigger size, because when he tried to return them like right after Christmas, they didn't have any bigger sizes, which they told me just to get them and take them home and put them underneath the tree. So he's going to try to see if they have them in now. And what's going on? And that's it. And yeah, I think that's it. I don't know. I finished my 15th Misfortune book by Jana DeLeon, and I got on, oh my God, I should not have done this. I got on Audible tonight. I bought 2 different sets of 3 extra credits, and I bought the first time I went on there, and I bought the book of the day, because it was like, got really great reviews. And I don't know what it's called. It's about these gay guys that fall in love, and then like they have to go back to like Cold War Russia, and one of them is like they have to keep their relationship a secret. It was like the daily deal on the day. It was $2.95 on Audible, because like one of them's in the military, and it like they can't be out, and so it's about their relationship, whatever. So I bought that, I like to go over there and see what the daily deals are. I have found some great books in the daily deals on Audible. And then I bought the 16th book of the Gina DeLeon series, which is the Christmas one, which I'm excited about reading. And then on my BookTube video, where I had done my top reads of the year, I had talked about Simone St. James, who wrote The Sundown Motel, that I loved. I still can't get it out of my mind sometimes. It was done so well, and it was so kind of like spooky strange, and it was a really great mystery, and it flashed back and forth between two different eras, like the 70s and today, and I really liked it. And so somebody recommended that I read, the same person recommended both of these books. Broken Girls by Simone St. James. It's her book that came before that. It's about a girl's killed at a boarding school in like the 50s, and then like in 1994, and now it's like today, it's like 2014. And this like reporter whose sister was the one that died before is trying to figure out the case. And so it goes back and forth between time, like these girls that are at this boarding school in upstate Vermont. It's like 120 girls at this school, and it's like, the school is like for girls that like have gotten into a lot of trouble, and their parents like want to send them off somewhere they don't want them anymore, or something like that is what it says. Just girls that have like gotten into a lot of trouble, I guess, or something, problems. And I was like, maybe I should read you the synopsis, because it's like a little bit more in depth than that. But anyway, so yeah, it's about this all-girls boarding school in upstate Vermont, where like these girls are sent by their parents because there's nowhere else to send them, basically, at this point. It's kind of like last resort boarding school. And so these girls are all kind of like tough and stuff there, and there's like this rumor, or these rumors that there's like it's haunted or something. And so I don't know how that factors into it. I'm literally like 20 minutes into the book, and it's already really, really good. So I downloaded that, and then I downloaded Lucy Foley, who wrote The Guest List, which was one of my favorite books of last year, my top 15 books. I think it was like right at number 10 or 11 or something. Oh my god, all these people running through Broderpool. What is going on? Bunch of people running and running and running. So the same person recommended to me to read The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. So I downloaded that as well. I got that on, what do you call it? On Audible. And then I was like, you know what? I need to just go in and buy the last, because then I had the 16th book of the Miss Fortune series, and there's 17 and 18. And so I was like, I just need to go back in and buy 17 and 18. So I went in and I bought more credits, and then I bought 17 and 18. I got 17 and 18, and then I have 1 credit left over there. So I bought 6 books tonight on Audible. Stupid. No, it's not stupid, because I love it. I love it so much. And, ooh, why is this leaking? Is it not tight? It's like leaking all over the place. I have my water, and then I also have my leftover coffee from earlier. Today was a good day. I felt a little bit better when I got up today. I laid in bed and I thought, okay, Peter, let's put some action to this. So before I got out of bed, even, I did my prayers and my meditations and did some gratitude, like just laying there in bed, and just was like real thankful for the day, thankful for having another day alive, you know, my health and all of that. And it really, really did help me. I noticed it this morning that like, I felt so much better, like just as my morning started, versus like, I think I still do that in the morning. You know what I didn't do today is I did not do my gratitude book that Tanya gave me. I totally forgot about it because it's like sitting behind my computer. But you know what, or did I do it? Maybe I did do it. I don't remember. This has been a long day. But I've noticed that like you know, this summer when I was getting up, I was like in a really, I didn't even realize it at the time. I was in a really healthy space this summer. Like, I feel like I still am now. But like this summer, I was in a really healthy space. I'm not talking about eating and the physical health. I'm talking about, I was in a really healthy space as far as, look at all of those lights. I've never seen those before. They must turn those off. It's so pretty. All white lights, done really nice. But anyway, I was telling somebody this the other day. They were like, well, what did you do in the summer? And I said, oh my God, I had so much fun because I would get up, you know, and I would get some of my stuff done around the house, and then I would go get my coffee, and I was at the pool by like 10:30 or 11 or noon most days. And then, you know, 1, 2 at the latest. And then I would stay there till 4 or 5. And then I would come home and I would film videos for like 2 hours and just like boom, 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 boom. And I was just so ready to go. And then like I would take a nap in the evening, and then I would listen to an audiobook or whatever. I really, and it was such a simple, you know, like life, but I really enjoyed it. And I was really, like, I'm happy now, but I feel kind of just blah. And I think I just was really happy this summer, and I really do think it has a lot to do with the weather. You know, one of my, Alex and I were kind of talking about this tonight, one of my major reasons for wanting to go to Florida, getting a place in Florida, going to Florida in the winter is because, like, this, I think this weather really brings me down. It makes me kind of blah and sad and stuff. So, you know, but one of the things I would do this summer is I always sat outside and did my meditation. Well, not always, but like most days I sat outside and did my meditations, had a glass of water, you know, the dogs were running around, did my affirmations, did a gratitude list out loud and whatever. And like I said, not always, but often, most often, almost every day I'd sit out there, and most days I would sit out there and I would just be part of the universe, and I would, you know, like my higher powers universe, and I felt very connected to the world. I felt very spiritual, and that's how I would start my day. And I noticed that I have like been getting away from doing that, or if I do it, it's very quick in the mornings. It's not like I'm allowing myself to have 15 or 20 minutes or a half an hour of just devoted time. You know, like people that are religious do devotion, like morning devotionals and things like that. And like reading a little book. My mom always read those. Remember, you know, I'm talking about those little daily devotionals. Well, it's the same thing for me, and it can be for anybody, you know, like however you choose to like do that in the morning. Maybe it's just sitting outside in silence. It's not a spiritual thing or a religious thing for you. Maybe it's just being part of the world, or, you know, having a cup of coffee or a glass of juice or whatever. But how you start your day in like a positive way, I think it really, really makes a difference. And so I was like, today I was like, I'm going to make a concerted effort that I am going to start doing that again. I mean, I can't go outside when it's, you know, 30 degrees outside. It's 27 right now. But I can, I mean, I could, but I mean, I'm not going to. But that doesn't mean that I can't sit there and make a cup of like green tea in the morning and start my day off with a cup of green tea or nice tea. I love tea. And, you know, like do all of my meditation books like I was doing, do my prayers, do my written gratitude list and all of that stuff. And I really think it makes a huge difference. And it's like, if what you're doing, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's like, why did I stop doing it? And I think what happens is, and I still do it, you know, like there's some mornings that I get up where I'm like, okay, today I'm gonna, and I do all this kind of stuff. Or I'll do it kind of like half-assed, where I'm like walking around getting stuff done, and I'm like praying in my head, and I'm doing my affirmations, and then I'll read like a, you know, meditation book. But I'm not putting the effort, the concentrated, devoted effort into it like I did this summer. And I really think it's a huge difference. And I really do. I think, like, you know, people ask me a lot, how do you stay positive about things all the time? It's like, I don't. I'm somebody that really has to kind of work towards that. And I think that if I was doing all of that more, I think I would be more happy on a, not even happy, I don't know. I don't feel unhappy. I just feel blah. I feel real blah lately. And like I said, I think it's the weather. And a lot of people around me are saying the same thing. They're like, God, this weather is just too much, you know? almost think it would be harder. I almost think it's worse like this than if we were getting snow. Like, I was watching on the news tonight, and like North Carolina is being hit with a lot of snow, and then Texas is supposed to be getting some snow, like North Texas. And it, like, I know it's unmanageable to drive in, and the stuff gets closed and whatever, but like, it's very pretty to look at. And at least then you feel kind of like you're part of winter. Like, this is just gray and dark and gray. And the day is short, you know? So, I mean, like, by 5 o'clock in the evening it's dark outside. It's just not fun. You know, when Alex and I first got together, he was the one, if you've watched for a long time, you'll know this, but I haven't talked about it on here for a while, because it's kind of a moot point at this point. But Alex was like, I want to move to Miami. Like, that's always been like my dream and whatever, or South Florida, somewhere around there. And I was like, okay, but I really had no desire to move to Florida. In fact, I was kind of like pretty resistant in my head about moving to Florida. And that was actually, like, it caused some problems throughout our relationship, because I just kind of went along with it at first. Don't ever do this in a relationship, don't. Like, from the very get-go, if somebody sets a, what do we call those, non-negotiables? I don't really like that word, and our counselor didn't either, but if somebody sets a non-negotiable and says, like, I mean, like, for us, Alex and I, neither one of us wanted kids. I can tell you right now, like, if I really wanted kids and Alex, we wouldn't be together still. Like, that just was like, that was just something that he did not ever want in his life. And then I had, you know, I think, like, where I was at with it when I met Alex was that if Alex wanted kids, then that would be, you know, something that I would be willing to discuss, but because he wanted to, not because I felt so pressed by it. You know, there was an age for me that if I passed a certain age, which I think it's different for everybody, but I'm just saying for me, I had older parents anyway. I mean, and they weren't even that old. I mean, my mom was 28 when she had me, and my dad was, I think, 32. But my parents were older than the other parents in the classes, because I can remember when we would be like, how old's your mom or dad or whatever, my parents were always much older. And so I didn't want that same experience if I was going to have a kid, and there were, you know, but the other thing is that I'm just real selfish, you know, and like, I know that about myself, and I want to go to the Meijer and the Walmart and get a fountain Coke with my best friend, and I want to travel, and I want to do this and stay up late and, you know, whatever, and have a crazy sleep schedule. And I always knew that if I was going to be a parent, I would be the kind of parent that, like, dedicated, like, my life to that. Like, live in the right neighborhood, go to the right schools, involved in everything, and that I would change my life around the parenting aspect, because that was so important to me if I was going to do that. And like, anything that I've kind of taken on in my life, I've kind of taken it on with that kind of seriousness, you know. And because my ex and I did talk about getting married and having kids, and when I would look at it, I was like, okay, well, you'll know when you're ready to completely change your life. Like, I would wake up one day and say, like, okay, I'm ready to kind of like settle down and be a parent, if that makes sense. And you know, I'm 48 years old and I still don't feel that way. And the other thing is it's just never been this huge of a priority to me. And we could get into some real opinions right here, but you know, I've known my fair share of parents in my life that didn't really care to be parents, and you could tell. And I feel like they just did it because it was what they were supposed to do. And there was almost kind of a resentment about it, it seemed like, you know, whereas I think that should be a choice. And I think that, you know, one of our most, and then I knew mothers that worked 3 jobs and had 3 kids and were busting their butts and were more involved with their kids than people that I knew that didn't have to do a ninth of that, you know, because these moms were so invested in their kids' lives. And it makes me sad. And I think that parenting is definitely one of our most underrated careers. And yes, it is a career. I think it's one of our most underrated careers in our country, as a father, mother, grandparent, if you're the one taking care of the kids, aunt, uncle, whoever you are, you know, foster parent. It's difficult. And I just knew that was not something that I wanted to take on. It was never that important to me. Yeah, it just was never that important to me. I never had that drive, and so that was kind of like Alex's thing, which I was just like, he was like, I definitely do not want kids. And I'm like, that's totally fine, What's really interesting is that people think that, like, we have this, like, adversity to it or something, like if we're gonna go out to dinner and somebody's gonna bring their kids, then we don't want to go. And it's not like that at all, whatever. But, Melissa and Jason, they don't have kids either, and they made the same decisions that we did, and we've talked about it a lot as couples, and people think the same thing of them, just because they never had kids. It's like that they don't like kids or something, which is totally not the case. Melissa is like, when, like, our friends Aaron and Eric, like, their kids were, like, raised around all of us, and when they would come over, Aaron's daughter was in some of my booktube videos. When, they would come over, and they still do for dinner and stuff now, but like, when they would come over to Melissa's, when Melissa picked him up from school and stuff, when, like, Aaron had an appointment or couldn't get there, and, then she would, like, make cookies with them, and, not just that day, but always, like, was always doing stuff to cater to the kids, and they were always, hell, Alex and I have been together for 12 and a half years now, so most of these people that we know, their kids were like, kindergarten or first grade, and they're graduating high school or college now, But anyway, that's actually, like, a decision. People ask me as I get older, they're like, do you regret the fact that you chose not to have kids? And it's definitely not something I regret at all. It's actually something that as I get older, I more strongly feel about that. I just don't think that was something that was ever in the cards for me. I will say that some of the things that are hard are, like, who do you pass stuff on to? Like, I have stuff that's memory-wise that I would love to pass on to somebody. The thing that's kind of cool, I will say recently, is that David does remember my mom and Caroline's son, even though he was 6 at the time, 5 or 6, and he died. But they spend a lot of time together. My mom was, like, his little, friend. And she took care of him a lot and went swimming at the condo and stuff. And he remembers everything. He remembers all of it. And so he'll ask me questions or he'll text me stuff. And I think, like, I don't know why this is getting me emotional, but, like, I think at some point, like, I'll just put a box of stuff together and say, David, like, I would like you to carry this, into your marriage, or, and pass this on. And I think that it will mean something to him, at least long enough where I'm not here and I don't have to know about it. You know what I mean? And then if he wants to throw the box away, he can. But at least I have somebody to, like, kind of pass on some of my stuff to, because he is, for a long time, he wasn't interested in that stuff. But now I've noticed that he's asking more and more questions. So, maybe that will be a legacy that he picks up and carries on. I don't know. It's hard. Like, that's the only thing that's hard. I don't care about the name. Like, I always ask my dad about that. Like, do you care about the fact that, like, I'm the last Monn? And he was like, no, I could care less, Peter. He was like, that stuff doesn't really mean anything, when you think about it. And I'm like, but that's kind of weird to me a little bit, that, like, when my immediate family dies out when I die. But so, anyway, I was talking about Florida. The thing with Florida is that it's always weird when you talk about, like, things in those terms of, like, like your name dying out, or you being the last one. Like, it is kind of weird to me, that, like, I'm gonna be the last one, my stepmom just turned 60, so, she's not going anywhere anytime soon. And my dad is very, very healthy, and he's 80, and I hope that they both live a very long life. I'm sure that they'll live another 20 years, both of them, at least. But, it's weird to think that at someday there will be none of us around here on this earth anymore. But then, like, really, like, who cares? Like, I'm like my dad said, like, the older I get, the more I kind of understand my dad's attitude with that stuff. But anyway, when Alex and I got together, he really, like, he was like, I want to move to Florida. That's always been my dream. It stopped. I had never gone to Miami. I hadn't even been to Fort Lauderdale. I didn't know if I'd like it, you know? And so, we went there for like that first spring we went there. He was in school, so we went down there for his spring break with him and his friend. And our friend Demi that lives in Dallas. And I just really could not see myself down there. And that trip, we went to Fort Lauderdale. We stayed at, it was a really nice hotel, actually. It was like a Westin or a Hilton. It was right across the street from the beach on A1, the A1A, and or whatever that's called. We went to Miami to go out to a club one night. We walked by Mango's. We walked to did we go into Mango's? I don't remember if we did or not. I remember we got an espresso. I got an espresso outside and they had drinks. And then we went to this club called Twist. It's this gay bar in Miami. That was the only night that we went out in Miami. I didn't see Miami during the daytime. I didn't know anything about it. Then Alex and I, the next time that we went was for our first Ultra, which I don't know when that was. Which, by the way, like Ultra Miami, they have not made any announcements. I mean, it's literally supposed to be the last week of March. They haven't made any announcements yet. I mean, let's just be for real, who's going to a music festival, right? But like, they haven't made any announcements yet. And it's like, are we getting our money back? Like last year they canceled it and said that you could pick 2021 or 2022. And now it's 2021 and we picked this year our tickets. And it was, they were quite a bit of money. I mean, like, quite a bit of money. So I don't really care about the information with the music festival. I think it should be canceled. But it's like, could you figure out what you're doing with their money? Or are, like, a lot of people are suing them for a class action lawsuit and stuff. And I'm wondering if they're just going to file bankruptcy or something and that's going to be it. And we're not going to ever get our money back. Because it's crazy to me now. It's like, I mean, even if, I can't imagine that. I haven't heard anything about like, they usually at this point start releasing like who the lineup's going to be. So even if they were going to attempt to put this thing on, which I can't imagine that the city of Miami would let them do that with COVID, right? I just can't even imagine that. So it's like, it's now the second week of January. And you've made no announcements to your hundreds of thousands of people that are supposed to come from all over the world that are ticket holders to your event. That is the most irresponsible business that I have ever seen. Like, seriously. You guys, these were not like $400 tickets. Like, these were extremely expensive tickets. And, I mean, and we love it, and it's something that we do every year, and we consider it like our trip. So it's like, whatever, and I don't care about it being canceled. That's fine, but like, give us our money back. You know what I mean? But I have a feeling that we're not going to get our money back for that. So it is what it is. But I'll just be like floored if it just comes and goes and they act like nothing has happened. I just can't even imagine running a business that way, you know? Anyway, then the next time that we went down there, it was when we went for our first Ultra, and we drove, and we stayed in Fort Lauderdale for 2 days. I really wanted to stay at the W in Fort Lauderdale. We had seen them building it, I think, the time that we had gone before, which was a couple years before that. And I really wanted to stay at the W in Fort Lauderdale. But I knew that the prices were going to be really, really high. And so I said, what we're going to do is we're going to drive down there and we had already booked. Remember we used to stay at that hotel called the Victor Hotel in Miami that we loved so much, that was right on Ocean Drive. I still love it, but now that I've stayed at the Fontainebleau, I think I love the Fontainebleau more. I really do. It's like a resort. It is beautiful, and it's wonderful beach and everything. But anyway, and I probably just rent a condo next time we go down there anyway. I mean, we have to start looking for places. I don't know how we're going to do that or when we're going to do that, but it was kind of nice having a place that was like suburban and then going to look at stuff last time. That was kind of nice, like to have the house and then like, you know, not be like in the mix of all the craziness, because I would not have enjoyed that. But we went to Fort Lauderdale, and I said what we're going to do is on the way down there, we're going to book it on our phones, like the day of, and see if we can get a really cheap rate. Because I had been watching it, and I had noticed that, like, the day of, like, you could get cheap, like, half prices at, like, the W and stuff. And so we looked, and it was pretty low. And so we booked 2 nights. I think we booked like a Wednesday and a Thursday there. No. We must have gone down earlier, like Tuesday and Wednesday or something. No, I think the first year we got, maybe that was what we did. And we checked into our hotel on Friday when we were going. I don't know. I don't remember how we did it. But anyway, we did like 2 nights at the W in Fort Lauderdale. I was totally not impressed with that hotel whatsoever. The people that worked there, just at that specific time, I don't know who works there now, but at that specific time, they were extremely, extremely rude to Alex and I. And, but the pool was very cool. It's like, you can like swim underneath the pool and like see the people like in the building. It's like, W hotels have really cool concepts. That's why I always like to stay in them in different cities and try them out. But I just was not impressed with that at all. The rooms were just really basic. Like the rooms in Chicago and New York City are very cool. The rooms down there were just like plain, and we could hardly, you could like look all the way around like that and you could maybe see the ocean. And it was like considered ocean front or something. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then we stayed at the Victor Hotel, and that was the first year, and we loved it. And I started slowly falling in love with Miami. Now, Miami is probably my favorite city next to Vegas. And I would say, I think it goes Miami, Vegas, and Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Is probably my 3 favorite cities. Although I haven't been to Gatlinburg in a really long time. We were talking tonight about we could go down for one night and stay at the West Baden Hotel, which is in French Lick, Indiana. And they have this beautiful resort there that my aunt and uncle took us to the November before. It was right after Thanksgiving, the year before my aunt passed away. She passed away like 2 months later. And we went for their 50th wedding anniversary. And the hotel is beautiful. The casino sucks. It's real small. But it's still fun. And, but we were talking about going down there and just, you know, like, walking around. The grounds are beautiful, and maybe going out to dinner. They have some really fantastic restaurants there. Jason and Melissa love a good steakhouse, and so we were talking about maybe going down there and like going to the steakhouse and, you know, just relaxing and be something fun to do. So anyway, I don't know. I thought I was going to win the Mega Millions tonight. I won $4. I got the Mega Million ball and then one other number, so I won $4. I thought I was going to win the Mega Millions, but I didn't. So, such is life, right? Alex and I tonight, because I told him I was going to win it, we had a very serious conversation about what we would do if we won the lottery, because it was like $400 and some million, 474 or something. And now it's the drawing, I think it's going to be on Tuesday, is $600 million. Powerball's tomorrow night. So anyway, I don't usually buy lottery tickets. We just happen to be, this is when I buy them. It's like Tanya and I were in the gas station. This guy came in and he was being kind of rude to the cashier, because the cashier said something to me afterwards. I was like, yeah, this guy was kind of rude to the cashier. And, but he was buying, well, this is what happened. So he said, can I have like so many Mega Millions, like 10 Mega Millions or whatever? And the guy goes, okay, let me, I think he was saying, let me check to see if it's too late or whatever to buy them. He went over to look, and then he goes, you said Mega Millions, right? And the guy goes, yeah, I said Mega Millions. And he like turned and looked at me like, what is this dude, an idiot? And he was like just checking to make sure that he was getting the right tickets for the guy, you know? So anyway, when the guy left the store, he was like, I was just trying to be nice and make sure that I was getting the right tickets so I didn't print off the wrong ones. I was like, you are totally fine, don't worry about it. And I was like, well, while you're over there. So I got, see, then it feels like, okay, like in that moment, like the universe is talking to me, and I do carry around, if you did the Magic Book by Rhonda Byrne, you write yourself a check. Did y'all do this? Have I shown you this before? Here's my check right here from the universe. Signed the universe. Has a very specific amount of money in there. Okay, I haven't gotten that money yet, universe. I'm waiting. So anyway, I do have my reading glasses though, right here. Okay, don't fret. I have my reading glasses right there. But, so those are the moments when I like buy the lottery tickets. I'm like, I'm so sure I'm gonna win. Like I can just feel it. I had somebody a long time ago look at me and just out of the blue say, you're gonna win a huge lottery. They said this to me. They said, you're gonna win a huge lottery. And I said, really? And I said, that's crazy. And I said, like, and at that time, my ex and I played the lottery like a lot. And I said, my boyfriend and I, we play the lottery all the time. And she looked at me and she said, yeah, but it's not going to be with who you're with now. You're going to win the lottery when you're with somebody else. And she looked at me and she said, and he's going to be a lot different than your boyfriend now. And he's going to have like darker skin. And one night I was buying lottery tickets. This was like 3 years into Alex and I being together. And for some reason, I had forgotten that she had said that to me because it had happened like 6 years before that. And then I was like, oh my God. And she told me when she said it, she said, it's going to be way, way in the future when you've like completely like almost forgotten about it and whatever. Not crazy. To see it could happen. So this is what I decided I would do if I won the lottery. Did you ever play this game? Well, first of all, we went through and we decided how we would like, what we would give out to our family members and friends. Which, needless to say, Sarah and Tanya fare much better than our family. No, I'm joking. But we would kind of give the same amount to each person, or depending on their needs, is what we decided. But like basically, I mean, when you're talking about money like $600 million, you're talking about never having to work money again as long as you're smart with it, right? And you put some of it into like, put some of it into, what do you call them? Into, why can't I think? I'm like in my head, mutual funds, I would make the money work for me. And then, to some degree, and so I never had to work again. But then, take out a certain amount of it and, gift it to people, and so that our families and, close friends wouldn't never have to worry about anything again. I think that's like the greatest gift of it, is that being able to help to take away that fear of financial insecurity for your family and friends for the rest of your life. But then Alex is like, what else would you do? And I was like, well, first of all, I would hire a team of contractors, like the best team in Indianapolis, to come in, and we would say, this is what we want done with the condo, and we would figure it out together. And I said, I think I would take like 2 months off of YouTube. And he said, you could never leave YouTube. I go, I could never leave YouTube. I said, what would I do? And he goes, what you could do is you could just hire like a videographer to just follow you around if you won the lottery for like, and I was like, oh, that's a really good idea. Like my new life, right? And then somebody, see, we're already thinking of projects and I haven't even won the lottery yet. But anyway, but he was like, would you stop vlogging and stuff? I said, I don't think I would. Like he goes, you would literally like every night with like $600 million sitting in the bank go and get, I go, well, why, what, he goes, and we're traveling and whatever. I go, I vlog when we're traveling. And he goes, yeah, I don't think I would want to quit working either, which is crazy when people say that to me, but like, I don't see this is not work to me. It just isn't. I think like, well, actually, there's a change I am wanting to make. I should run it by you guys and see what you think. So anyway, but I think I would take 2 months off from any like uploads, except for maybe like random updates and stuff like that. I would announce it and say, hey, I just won $600 million in the Powerball. So for all of you haters out there, peace out. No, I wouldn't say that. I would be really tempted to give some of it away and like do a giveaway, I would probably go back and watch and like make sure that I was like being valid about like all the people on my vlog. I'm just saying this because this is my vlog. No, but this is the truth. That have been consistently watching or like comment a lot or, you know, send me emails or whatever. And I would send, you know, I don't know what I would do. I'd like to do some kind of like giveaway if I won that bunch of money, you know, make somebody else happy. Do you guys remember that article in the newspaper that was called Mr. Millionaire or whatever? And then people would write him and say, Mr. Millionaire, my apartment sure is hot and we don't have centralized air. And he'd say, I'm sending you $50 to buy an air conditioner. Do you remember that? I loved that guy. But anyway, do you think that there was any truth, or do you think that was always the newspaper? Now I wonder in retrospect. But I said, and then, because I said I would go to Florida and, you know, we would figure out what our place is going to be in Florida. I said, Alex, we could get like someplace right in South Beach that was like phenomenal. He was like, yeah. And I said, then I'd stay there for like a week and then come back so that we could start like the building of the condo. And he goes, why couldn't we just stay in Florida? I mean, this is where like you're arguing over lottery money that you haven't even ever won and probably never will, right? And I said, because, you know, my cousin Caroline does a lot of this like house flipping, rebuilding stuff as a realtor. And she said, and and we had just gone through and said what we were how much money we were going to give each person, like in his family and in my family. And I said, well, who's going to watch to make sure that like the construction's getting done correctly on our condo? And he goes, I think we just gave Caroline quite a bit of money that she could come over here and she can make sure that that stuff's getting done correctly. I was like, you know what? That's a good idea. I'm like, this is so funny that we're having this whole conversation, you know? But you know what was really weird about it was, in our and maybe this is how we've changed. I don't know. I mean, we still like nice things. My husband, God, he's constantly talking about, you know, he loves clothes and he loves, you know, Gucci and Louis Vuitton this and whatever. And I do too. Don't get me wrong. I do it totally. But like in all the conversations about that, we didn't really talk about cars. We didn't talk about this. Like we didn't talk about that. Like he was like, would you buy a place like in Tulum? And I was like, no. And he was like, why not? I said, I would travel. I said, I might buy like a farm or a ranch out in the middle of somewhere. Wyoming, not. Anyway, no, I think Wyoming is beautiful, but I wouldn't, I mean, I've never been there, but what I've seen, I think it's beautiful. I was just joking. If you watch my drama videos, you know why. But I probably would buy, you know, like, because I love just being, like, out, like, you know, in nature, and I would probably, or maybe, you know what I would probably do is I would probably buy a log cabin in, like, outside of Gatlinburg, you know, that if I wanted to drive there for a weekend with some friends, or he wanted to go, and we could go together, or have a little romantic weekend, or whatever. That's probably what I would do, is a log cabin in Gatlinburg. I would not buy a condo in Vegas, or any kind of property in Vegas. I love to stay in hotels in Vegas, so that's not gonna stop. But we didn't talk about like cars. We didn't talk about brands. We didn't talk about buying this or going on a clothes shopping spree or any of that kind of stuff, you know? We both talked about like getting our nephews like, you know, college funds and set them up to things that they could have when they turn 21, that they could basically start any business that they wanted to at that point, you know, and, you know, pass it up a generation. And, I have a feeling Carlitos will probably be offered a lot of athletic scholarships. He already plays like 4 sports and he's really, really good at all of them. And I'm not just saying that because he's my nephew, because to be honest with you, none of that means anything to me. I'm just going to be honest with you. But like, he's really good. Like I've been standing there when other parents like are talking and they're like, your nephew's like really good. You know that? I mean, and he's 8, right? So what does that mean? But like if he keeps it up, what I love about it is that Carlos and Liliana are involved in it, but they don't push it. Like, I really thought, because Carlos is, like, obsessed with baseball and whatever, he's like, oh, you know, he's like, dude, I don't care what he does. What he wants to do is what he wants to do, you know? Which I think is so cool as parents. It's like, you know, I wish my parents, like my parents were so good with the tennis thing, but like I wish my parents would have said, do you want to take an art class? Do you want to take a singing? You want to do this? Do you want to do that? Instead of just like, I mean, there weren't as many options when I was growing up, you know, of all the different extracurricular activities that you can do when you're younger. But like, I wish my parents would have found out about other stuff. Like, I mean, I love to sing, and Indianapolis has Indianapolis, you know, children's choir. That would have been something that I would have loved to have done when I was a kid. And I think that it would have like broken out my like, it would have helped me with my social anxiety. And, because those kids wouldn't have known me from school, you know what I mean? But all I knew was tennis. And when I got older, I was in this actors group, which I noticed on Facebook. Somebody invited me to it, which is really weird because I only did it like 1.5 years or so. But I got invited to this group that is about this actors theater group that I was in when I was a kid. It was all like, I would say the ages were from like, there was like really little kids in there, like 4 and 5 maybe, all the way up to like 15. And at the time that I did it, I was like, this was like the 1 year that I had a good friend. I don't remember, it would have maybe been 6th grade, 5th and 6th grade. And I was the shoemaker in Cinderella. This was the play, okay? I know you're probably asking yourself, when was there a shoemaker in Cinderella? Well, there is. And I improvised, and actually he had a cane and a very serious walking condition. So I would tap this cane all across the stage when I was talking. I can't believe I did that. Like, my social anxiety is so bad, I don't think that I could do like real theater. I have thought it would be so much fun to do like community theater. Like, that's like something that, like, that's a bucket list kind of thing that I would love to do. Just like the involvement, you know, of being like in a group, doing that. I just think that would be so much fun. But I don't even know where community theater is around here. I'm sure they're not doing it because of COVID and stuff, but... Oh, my idea. So that was our lottery talk. Do you guys ever talk about that? Like, what you would do? I would probably donate quite a bit of it as well. You know, some organizations that I really believe in. You know, actually, I probably would set up an organization where, like, I gave, like, every, like, there would be enough money in it so that, like, each month, like maybe a foundation, like, it would option somebody for free treatment in this country, drug and alcohol treatment, because there's such poor resources for that. And then that would give 12 people, I mean, you're talking, some treatment programs are $30,000 to $100,000 a month. I mean, like long-term go-away kind of treatment programs. So, you know, able to assist with those programs, or for people that are low income and don't have the money for that, you know, maybe that, and, you know, have it be like a certain amount of like stipend, that it was like so much a month, and then 12 people a month would get that charity towards like addiction treatment. That's probably what I would do, something like that, if I could. The mind reels when you think that way, doesn't it? Anyway, so this is my new idea for my 7th channel. No, I'm totally joking. When I was telling Alex this tonight, I go, because like for real, I'm not starting a 7th channel. And he just kind of looked at me. But, you know, people ask me to mix up a lot of the drama on my drama channel. You guys are literally the first ones that are hearing about this. I think I'm going to talk about this tomorrow in my drama video if I make one. But I haven't said anything about this publicly. I've kind of talked a little bit about this with the podcast. I'm not really sure how I would start this or when I would start this. But here's the deal. So, you know, I have collectively probably, I mean, I'm the first to admit it, talked about the same 5 or 6 people on my drama channel for the last year. You know, give and take 2 or 3 extra on either side, right? But I love the YouTube drama, but I miss the days of doing drama when it was like comical drama, you know, like it was, like I did a video today talking about James Charles getting a perm, you know, and kind of talked about that and what he said in his video, and then I talked about him announcing the launch of his brand. Well, I mean, obviously, nobody cares about that stuff, so, like, a video like that not a lot of people watch it, you know? And I want to make videos that people watch. I want to make videos that people want to watch and they get interested in it, you know? So, I don't you know, so many people send messages to me asking me to talk about people that once I start looking into it, I'm like, okay, like this is stuff I don't even want to talk about on my channel. Like I try to keep it like lighthearted and somewhat fun. And I know that I've deviated from that at times, but like that's really what I try to do on my channel. And I'm not a deep investigative reporter. I'm not coming with 500 receipts and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, what could I do on my drama channel? I don't really like the magazine videos have kind of come and gone. I don't think, you know, like that's really people. I think there's a small handful of people that love the magazine videos or the Craigslist videos that I used to do back in the day, but I don't think that many people are really that interested in those anymore, honestly. I might do one every once in a while. I probably put it on my Peter Does Stuff channel just for, you know, I was gonna say SHI toots and giggles, you know, but somebody's like trying to figure out S-H-I-T-O. Do you remember like in school when everybody would go, the teacher would say, shh, and we'd all go, it. Do you remember that? Shh, it. So silly, isn't it? So anyway, I talked like at length last night in my video about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Now, y'all know I go through periods where I feel like this stuff is real toxic, okay? I'm not in one of those periods right now. I'm in a period where I'm watching Atlanta, I'm watching Salt Lake, I'm watching Plathville ended this week. I haven't finished it yet. You know, and I know that there's a lot of shows that people would want to watch, or that people watch I've never watched. Like, I've never watched The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. I know, right? And so I thought what I could do is, as I wouldn't pick a show probably, I would either pick a show that is like currently running right now, or I would wait until the newest season, like the next season of The Bachelorette started, right? And then I would start it like with that. And what I would do is I would not stop doing YouTube drama. So like on a day like today, when I'm talking about James Charles Perm, and I wouldn't do RuPaul's Drag Race drama because Jake Yonsei covers that. And I love Jake, and he's a really sweet guy, and I know him personally, and he is so good at what he does that unless tons of people ask me to do RuPaul's Drag Race, I shouldn't say I wouldn't do it, because I did do it. I used to do it back in the day. I think before he even did it, actually. I did a couple, like, review videos of it, and they didn't do well, and people didn't really care. But I would maybe do that. I probably would reach out to him first, and he'd be like, girl, I get 170,000 views a video. Do you think I care? Because I probably would reach out to him and be like, hey, I just don't want you to think that I'm stepping on your toes or whatever. Because it's more of like a collective idea for me. And it would be me doing reality TV show reviews and reactions to it. And because I love watching reality TV. I have for a long time. I watched reality television ever since The Real World, the first season, and, you know, Survivor, the first season, and all of it. I've watched it forever, you know, and I think it would be fun to do that on there. And so I would like do it, like if it was today, I would do a video where I reviewed, or where I talked about like James Charles and the Perm and Jeffree Star and him stirring up drama, whatever's going on with him. And that would be one video, but then I would also put out a second video on that channel for that day, because you know how sometimes I do like 2 videos in a day. I would put out a second video that day. Maybe I would just do it 3 days a week or 4 days a week, depending on what shows I was watching at that time. But I would pick certain shows to follow. So I would pick like Real Housewives, Beverly Hills. I would do like the Housewives, obviously. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And then like maybe like The Bachelorette and The Bachelor. And then like, you know, Plathville. So when those shows came on, depending on how many were on at the same time, are the shows that I would review. Does that make sense? What do you guys think about that? In addition to doing that. So I wouldn't just be a YouTube drama channel. I would be a YouTube drama and a reality TV review channel. Because there's a lot of reality TV that I love. And people ask me all the time, they're like, will you watch this and review it? I mean, I get a lot of requests for people to ask me to watch TV shows and then review it. So, or if you have suggestions on other ways to do that, let me know. It doesn't belong on any other channel, and I'm not starting a 7th channel. So I feel like it fits on that channel, you know? I don't know, I think it could be fun. What do you think about that? Let me know in the comment section below. Oh, I just made a poem. Did you like that? Okay, hey. It's so funny to me when I'm driving through the country and you see these houses back here, like off the road, like out in the middle of nowhere, and they're like massive. And you're like, who would decide to like build a house right there? Like this massive house. It's like at its driveway all the way down. It looks like serial killer business to me. It scares, I wouldn't like it. It scares me. I have to say my last misfortune book was probably one of the best ones that I've read. I really liked the mystery of it. It was the Thanksgiving one. I can't remember what it was called. Cajun fried. I don't remember. But anyway, it was one of my favorite ones that I have ever. It stopped. It was one of my Cajun fried catfish, Cajun fried criminal. I can't remember. It was one of my favorites though, and the mystery in it was really good. I really didn't have the mystery figured out. I kind of did at one point. I always kind of have an idea, and then I'm like, could that be? Could that not be? But that's the great thing about reading mysteries is you always think that you know what it is, but you don't really have the whole picture. I've always thought it would be really fun to write a mystery, but like, you want to talk about that, you cannot write a mystery organically. I just don't know how you would do it. You would have to sit down and before you even wrote page one, know how the whole mystery is going to play out. Like you would have to have that and written down on your, and this character this and this character this and, red herrings. And do you know what red herrings are? Like when you do something that sets people off the trail. So you would have to have all of that, smoking, what's the smoking gun? What's the motive? What's the reason for this? Because that's the whole skeletal system and backbone to your novel. I can't even imagine it, how you do it. I wish that I felt like I had the talent to do that. And maybe I should sit down and try to. But the thing is I've read so many mysteries. I think about this the other day, because I was like, okay, if I was going to write a cozy mystery, how would I write it? And then I was like, well, what if it was this girl that's been in, this was my idea. I was like, what if it's about this girl and she, her dad was part of the mafia? But the thing is, you have to always make the main character in a cozy mystery really lovable, right? So I was like, what if her dad was in the mafia and then he was killed and when she was like a little girl, so she and her mom were put in the witness relocation program, right? And then she grew up and because you want to have the different story. So she grew up and then her mom, and she didn't know that they were in witness relocation. She just thought that that's who she was when she grew up. And so when her mom passed away, her mom dies of something, some illness, old age, whatever. When her mom, I think, her mom passed away of something, And then she's going through her mom's stuff and she finds this information that leads her back to want to find out about what happened with her dad. There's some mystery associated with it. So she goes back. This is actually a better idea than I thought of the other day. I was just going to have her have to go into another witness relocation. I was like, that's kind of like sinful Louisiana. But this would maybe be my idea. And that she finds this stuff in her mom's stuff, and so she wants to go back to this small town, and her mom's left her money, so she goes to this small town and reinvents herself and changes her name and buys a little shop and a little house there. And then it's to find out what really happened to her dad, and then that would be book one. Maybe her dad was murdered for maybe he wasn't in the mob, maybe he was just murdered, and so she goes back to find out how he was murdered and what her dad had that was so important, and then she ends up staying in the town after that. Oh, the battery's dying. I was like, why is it flashing? I just changed the battery. No, it just stopped and was under the battery. What do you think? You like that cozy mystery? I think it's actually not too bad. And of course, she'd meet her fair share of crazy and kooky characters. I think that would be kind of fun. What would I call it? Web of Deception. That's probably, I'm sure, done 100 times. I love to come up with titles, but I'm not real great at it. I have to really think. Do you guys like that idea? That's actually not a bad cozy mystery. But how was her dad killed? And why were they put in witness relocation? witness protection because he was killed. Like, that's the story right there. And she doesn't know, see? And there's nobody alive that would know because she doesn't have any extended relatives. So she goes back to the town that it happened in, where her dad died, to find out what had happened. And the case has been closed, and the detective that worked on the case is dead. And maybe it's his son that's the sheriff, and then she falls in love with the sheriff while she's... Okay, I'm gonna have to work on this idea a little bit. What would we call it? I don't know. Something revenge, that would be the first one. Oh my God, this is getting so good. This is getting so good. Okay, listen, I gotta get off here now. I gotta think about my idea. I gotta listen to Broken Girls. I gotta finish drinking my iced coffee and my water. So I'm gonna get off here now. My battery's dying anyway. I love you guys. I hope you're having an amazing Saturday. Do something today that will help you relax and rejuvenate for the week ahead. That's what I've been saying on my other videos, my Peterisms video, I said it. Do something fun today. Take a risk. Do something that, watch something that you wouldn't normally watch. Let me know what you think about my cozy mystery idea. Do you think it has some foundation groundwork on it to build on? Let me know. Give me some title ideas. So anyway, I love you guys so much, and I will be kind to one another and treat each other nicely, okay? And let's be gentle to one another, and maybe we can create a more peaceful and serene world around us. And I love you guys. Smile at one another. It doesn't take anything. It's totally free to smile and say hi and give somebody a compliment. So anyway, I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya!